people need fucking order. Before we
Yes.
get anything
100%,
else,
100%.
we need order.
That's right.
And we need to be holding every single person accountable for shit they do and shit that they don't. And it's not out of rage or anything, it's out of love for what we can see can happen.
But you see, when you're talking like that, you know, you do understand, and this is why I talk about the clan thing. When you're talking like that, black people looking at you like, who does this guy think he is to try and give me order? Do you know what I mean? Like, who does he think he is?
But
Like,
we're already under orders. It doesn't matter.
yeah, but the thing is,
It's a new one.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
What if they say they're for the trans thing? What if they want to say, you know, there's a black woman on the TV arguing against, what was it, Stop Singing Kumbaya or whatever, you know, the Anglo Street Chariot thing. I'm not going on TV to argue, yeah, I'm going to do shit about that, we've got proper problems, but that's her priority. And if you say, right, there's order, you can't be wasting black people's time, TV space to go on TV and argue about that, you're going to have to fight her down.
That's
what
what
if she
I-
wants to stay with her white husband?
that's why I said you have to create your clan. Once you create your clan, you know exactly who you're moving with and exactly who's moving for you. It's not a thing of black people. A lot of black people say, "Oh, we got to unify, man. We got to come together." Half of the people that I see on the street, I wouldn't want to come together with. I'm not gonna lie to you. I want them in and around me. Yeah, I'm gonna come together with the people that I know that are gonna be rolling the way I'm rolling.
But
Trust
that
and
is it, that
believe.
is it though.
Like, when I'm saying this, I'm not saying this in hope of we can order the look. If you really ask me, we need that person that is gonna be like, yo, we're not fucking around. If you lot threaten whatever it is that we've got going on here, you've got to go because that's how they deal with it.
Okay, but remember what
Yeah.
happens with that, yeah? What happens with that is the people start saying, oh, he's killing his quote-unquote own people. Yeah? So when that happens, yeah, and I've said, even when I was speaking to Tommy Robinson one time, he was talking about Robert Mugabe. One of the people with the woman spoke about Robert Mugabe.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, Robert Mugabe was this and this. And I said, what's wrong with Robert Mugabe? He said, oh, he killed his own people. I said, let me just ask you a very simple question. I could be raised in a house with my brother. You would assume that's my own people. But if my brother now plotted to kill me, is he my people?
No.
But the thing is, you would say, oh, and if I kill my brother, you'd be like, he's killing his own people. It's like, sometimes it's a grey area that a lot of people don't really speak about when they talk about this own people
But
thing.
that's the
Oh, of
thing when
course,
they
yeah.
talk about sometimes you've got to sacrifice one to save the many. So
Right, and a lot of people ain't willing to do it, which is, sorry to cut you, but which is why a lot of people don't realize what it takes to be an actual leader.
Yep.
They don't. They talk so bad on leadership. Like, oh, this leader. I'm like, listen, you have no idea the decisions that a leader has to actually make
100%.
and deal with the consequences of it.
if you're doing it, like
What?
as you said, with the right mindset, you know that regardless of what's going to come at you, you're going to do it because you know what the end goal is or what's going to come of it. So, like you were saying, with us unifying or whatever, like I know we had the convo the other day, and when we said it's not always that we're all going to be the same, and like a lot of young people now, you say, oh, my brother or someone that looks like me. The argument with a lot of young people is they don't look like me. Already with that mentality, you don't get it. Because they are seen at face value of
They're from South.
We're
They're from
a
North.
different
Yeah.
we're a different shade. Like, he's got this
So
feature,
minor.
I've got, and it's
So
not
huge.
about the physical looking.
That's
If
right.
you can't look inside yourself and see yourself in another black person, then it's done. At
Well,
that
that's
point.
why you could. But the thing is, one of the things that I've spoken about for years is we can't even see our divinity in the gods that we worship, right? And being such a spiritual people, if we're looking at someone else as divine other than ourselves, we don't even see ourselves as divine. And so,
Exactly.
so how could you even look
Exactly.
at? How could you even? You were talking at this guy called Jesus, and this milky white guy with blonde hair and all this kind of stuff, and that's your divine father. Father? My father don't look like that. No, that's your father. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a really weird dichotomy, and I think if black people can't even, as spiritual as we are, if we can't even see ourselves in the divinity that we take on, then we're finished, because we will always treat. And I've said the first time, sorry to go off, but the first time I saw, I went to South Africa about 15 years ago, and that's the first time I ever saw white people treated like God. And they said apartheid was over. And I was there, and I was like, and every black person was like, I look at this black guy, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why are you treating him like that? Why are you? But the thing is, coupled with apartheid, you had the God concept. Do you get me? So not only is he your master, he's your God in the subconscious of a lot of black people's mind. And I've said, if we keep taking on spiritual systems that are not, that we can't even see our divinity, we're finished, man.
And it sounds like, just like the last one, we're going off, but just like the other one, it all ties in. This is why we have brothers out here licking down other brothers, because we're empty. We're looking for something that we're never gonna find. It's in you.
What I want to say is that is an uncomfortable fact is that when we did have these clans, we had clan antagonisms between us, and other people came in and took advantage of those clan antagonisms. When we had this concept that we was working with them, when the Portuguese first come, they don't come as nothing else but traders and good storytellers of the good Lord and Savior, and they start doing this, they start playing us off against each other. So we have to, as much as this system has taken advantage of a window that we've given them.
But that's the problem sometimes, though, isn't it? We keep giving them windows and opening doors.
That is the only problem.
Okay, that's gonna come in. Oh, it's just you, and then that just you turns into.
Sometimes we need to learn when to shut the door.
That's it.
We just need to learn,
That's it.
and it's not even we hate you or nothing, but no, when you're just not coming in, innit?
Yeah, what you
You
say?
feel like you're just not coming in.
We just not today.
What you say is real, but it goes back to the things that I say all the time. We're in a war, and because people ain't getting licked down left, right, and centre, there's no bombs coming out of the sky. We think that it's not happening, but it's happening. In this war, you have enemies. You have to start seeing people as enemies in order to know, I can't let you win, so I'm going to close this door and understand why I need to close this door. The fucking headless chicken out there.
Furthermore, it's not even closing the door. Sometimes you just don't open it because you're already in your house. Just look at them through the window outright and just keep an eye.
But
Do they
you-
loiter outside?
But
or
you
do
know,
they
just like we were just saying, a lot of the time the quote-unquote enemy looks at us, so we don't think
This
it's
is
the
it.
enemy.
Which is
Do you
why
get what
we
I'm saying?
open the
So we
door.
let them in, we open the door, it's like, oh, that's my brother,
We
looks
just
like
speak
me.
to them through the window.
Yo, that's if,
That's what we-
I always say,
if that-
if me and my clan always say, if they ain't clan, fam, we're not dealing with you. Because if they are clan, or if they're someone, one of the clan have got to vouch for them. Not anyone and anyone's just coming around us and saying anything and anything. No, because if something bad happens, that's gonna be on me. It's gonna. But you know what? Sarah brought him. Fuck, I didn't bring him in. I just fucked up.
So what's your policy on dealing with other clans?
It's fine.
No.
What do you mean?
What I'm saying is
What do you mean?
because imagine if outside people come to you right now and say, you see them clan over there, them niggas over there, you man don't like them, man. What are you saying? Yeah? And then they.
I'm not that stupid. For me, I'm just not that stupid. I'll be like, bro, what's your intention? What are you trying to cause here? What's going on? And then, you know what? The thing is, war is always the last option on the table, and that's what you have to learn. Like, you have to be able to diplomatically talk out any discrepancies that you have before. So if I've got a discrepancy with so-and-so peoples, it's not, bruh, guys, lock a load. It's like, all right, let's have a conversation, which is why I speak the way I speak, which is why I'm able to sit down with people and have that dialogue. A lot of people just want to go to war and be like, no, he said this, and I'm like, no, there needs to be some kind of dialogue first, and let's see where each other is at. And if it is after that still fuck you, then it's fuck you. It's like, all right, then cool, we're going to war. But at least I knew before I just said, you know what, just going hot-headed. So, no, I'm a talker. I've always been a talker.
But there's also nothing wrong with being down for your people. So when you're saying, I'm down for my people and we're going to do things in our way, we don't really want to interact. Well, everyone else is doing it.
Yes.
So why
And
does
it's
people have a
working.
problem when the black community is doing it? It doesn't make sense.
Because
they're strength in numbers.
But it does make sense.
Unconsciously, they know what happens.
Strength in numbers. If we, let's be honest,
Because it
how would
hasn't
they have divide and conquer if they didn't know our strength when we are together and our powers when we are together? Which is why, in the first place, even if you go back to slavery, if people weren't, you did, like I said, opening the door and letting people in to some degree and thinking, oh, okay, hold on, let's see what they're about. If all of them stood there, if you had like 2 or 3 men with no machinery, come in and you had the whole team say, hell no, look at them people that shot off the people when they tried to get to the island with the bow and arrows, killed them. They were not here for it. They're not waiting for you to get here and say no. They said no. They took them out. Do you think even they would be prepared, even if they saw a large boat come in, to go to attack. So you know if they got infiltrated, that's not because they would like letting them in. That's because they got maybe outnumbered, outsourced, however it worked out. But we don't have that mental. We don't keep that.
But the thing
But
is,
we've
we
not grown
don't
with
even do that in our families. And this is what I've said. Like, a lot of us know our certain family members are wrong-uns. They're wrong-uns, and we still let them around. Listen,
Because it's family.
I don't go around my family with certain family members because I know they're wrong-uns. And it's just that simple for me. People are like, oh, he thinks it's bad. Listen, I see that energy that you got over there, keep it. I don't care if we share the same blood, keep it. Because a lot of the time, that person there, if you're in and around that energy for too long, it will start to try and influence you, which will start to try and infiltrate you. And a lot of the time, people know that there are people in their families molesting children and they're sweeping it under the rug. And do you know what I'm saying? It's like, why do you
Until it's your child.
You don't even know who your enemy is. He's like, oh, that's just the uncle, that's just a little bit.
He's a bit.
Thomas Sankara, it was allegedly his best friend.
Yeah.
Who was his best friend, so his right hand man.
It's always a right.
Who grew with him.
Who got infiltrated.
Who sold him out.
But they
So
say it's
it's
the closest
usually
ones
the
to you as
person
well,
who's
isn't it?
closest to you.
Because
So
they have
as
to
much
know
as
you.
the
Wherever the enemy can get an opening,
yeah,
they're coming in and they're gonna blow your shit up from the inside.
and this is
As
why
soon as you give them an opening, and if you got a weak person around you, that's the opening. Malcolm X's bodyguard, the one holding him like that, he worked for the police, bro. You understand? The other one was working for FBI. Opening all around him led to his weaknesses. You understand?
and this is
You've
why
got to have a solid clan.
the value system,
100%.
the value system from young is imperative. Because if that's not there,
But that's why they do like a lot of things you also see, whether it be clans and groups, they'll do them test periods where it's like random tests of
That's what we
people.
do.
You have to, because the thing is, if you just vouch and say, nah, it's clan, we're cool,
No,
you're
that
never
don't-
gonna know who.
that don't happen with me.
That's what I'm saying, you would never know who
That
sorted
would
you
happen with
out.
me. You're on a trial
And you've
period,
got to do
mate.
it where it's not, alright guys, we're gonna put him to the test, because now they even know that there's tests going on. You've got to know that if I'm not gonna say you're the clan's man, but just as a thing right now, if you're the clan's man, you've got to test everyone when nobody knows that test even exists within it for you to know.
Yeah, to know what type
Because
of
even if
person
you
they
say
are.
to one person, you don't know one whether they're going to tell the others, or two, alright, because I know he's tested, he might randomly test me one day, so I've got to be on board. You don't want that. You just want to know that they're legitimately
legit.
on board.
But you know what happens when you speak like this to a lot of black people generally? It gets very conspiracy. Oh, that's like secret societies. It's like you lot got your own societies, you're in your gangs. And you can't trust none of them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You're in your gangs.
it's true though. They're the biggest mob of all, like, and they're the ones that have got everyone in some sleep state.